Hi guys and welcome. Today I am here to do some sort of like a reading year in review. What? I haven't given much thought to what the title of this video is going to be, but hopefully it won't suck that much. So basically go through the books that I read during 2015. So for 2015 I had the goal to read a total of 20 books. It's not much to a lot of you or most of you, but considering how it had been in past years and how school had been so demanding and that this year I would start working, like I would finish school on July and then I would go into the real world to sort of like try and adult as best as I could. I didn't know how it was going to be. But sure enough, it was rough on the whole reading thing. From July to November, I read almost nothing. I think I read one book from July to November. Because on July, I got into my finals and finishing with school and all that stuff, and then I started working and I got into that sort of like adulty world of things and trying to balance things, and I started my master's degree while working 4 jobs. That was insane. So I didn't have time to read, and like none at all. But then starting December, something possessed me and I read 2 books in 8 days, and for me that's like a lot, and I was like, wow. Because it was like 400-page books, it was a big chunk of book. And I began to cut up to my challenge, and I haven't completed it yet. I've read only 18 books so far, and today is December 30th? So I don't think I will make it, but I am almost done with Throne of Glass, so I may finish this today, and I am also almost done reading this poetry book, so I actually might make my challenge of 20 books. It's gonna be a challenge. It's gonna be a challenge. But overall, it was quite an interesting year. So as to what I read during the year, I read 2 poetry books, all by Lang Leaf, which is Love and Misadventure and To Lullabies. I read 2 books that were shit, one of them being Willow by Julianne Hoban. I have a review for that. And the other one being Starstruck by Zen Belong. I didn't really finish both of them. I finished Willow, which was bleh. But Starstruck, I gave up. It was so dumb. And Willow, I burned so that no one can ever stumble across that book ever again. I read my first Patrick Ness book being A Monster Calls, and it's gonna be a movie, and the trailer was epic. I finished the Mistborn trilogy this year by Brandon Sanderson. I read The Hero of Ages, and it was quite a ride. I also continued with The Alloy of Law, which is book 4 in the Mistborn trilogy. It's like years and years and years later after the whole final Empire thing happens. It was just a really fun time, and it was just a great sort of, I don't know, it allowed you to breathe after all the tension in The Hero of Ages, which was such a tough book. A lot happened, a lot. And then I couldn't let go of my Brandon Sanderson, of the Brandon Sanderson goodness. He's such a good writer that I went ahead and got Steelheart. So I read 3 Brandon Sanderson novels this year, and it was great. He does not disappoint if you want to read something of the high epic fantasy area of things. He's so great. It was also a year in which I started into the whole graphic novel area of things. I read Hyperbole and a Half by Ali Brosh and Nimona by Noelle Stevenson, and they both were so different and both were so great and also really funny, especially this one. And I gotta say that like graphic novels fly by so quickly, and it can be a bit frustrating to be like, I bought a whole book and it lasted me for 3 hours. But it's very much worth it, and the experience is very different. Even if you read a book that's illustrated, reading a whole graphic novel, it's very different. So I have definitely a new appreciation for graphic novel things, and I am eager to continue reading more graphic novels in 2016. Another thing that really marked this 2015 is that I read just so many good books, like just really good books. For example, The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Oh my god, that was such a good book. I am making a video talking about my top 5 favorites of 2015, and that one's in it. It was such a good book, like just a really, really well written good story. And another book that was just really good was Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I wanted to read one of her books in 2015. It was a goal of mine as far as reading goals go, and I did, and Vicious was so good. It was so good. And then I read An Ember in the Ashes by Sabaa Tahir, which was also just You guessed it, so good. I don't know, I feel like even though I didn't read much this year, it was just a really good reading year, and like December where I read like 5 books total because I went nuts, it was a really good reading month. Like, I feel like I'm finishing the year with a bang! I might not have read much, as I said. I mean, it was like 18 books, I may make it to 20, but in 20 books in a year it's not much, but I just feel like I read so many good things, even if 2 of those 20 books were shit. It happens. But I feel like it was a year to venture out into different genres, because in past years I had always just read like sort of like YA books all the time, and I've always been a really big fan of YA contemporary books, and those were always my favorites, and I would usually not really venture far away from that genre. And then 2014, at the end of 2014, I really just got into the whole epic fantasy thing, and I embraced it a lot this year, and I went for it, and I was like, there is no shame in liking all of the fantasy. So as I said, I feel like I went away from my YA contemporary into YA adventures and YA magic and fantasy and all the good stuff. I also went ahead and read graphic novels, which I've always been kind of sketchy of. Found out that I liked them, and then I also went ahead with poetry, which I've always loved poetry, but I've never been one to buy a poetry book. I went ahead and reread books just for the fun of it, and then I went into the adult section and I read Fishes and The Night Circus, and they were so good. And at the end of the year, I read 2 YA books that I found out I still really love, because I love it so much. I love YA and adult and new adult, and I love everything. And it's possible to do it. You can love all of the genres. It's not restricted to any age at all. So yeah, it was quite an exciting year, and it's a weird video, but I needed to do this. I needed to just see what I had read total, and oh my god, I changed it. I just needed to see what I had read and looked at my year. Not much more. Like, you know, like step back and look at what I had read. Yeah, it was a good year. I really hope that in 2016 I can sort of like get my shit together and, you know, read more and, like, actually read more. I already said that. So yeah, that's what I read in 2015. As I said, I will make a video talking about my favorites of the year, like I'm gonna film it right after this. But just talking about my top 5 favorites and why I love them so much. Yeah. Do let me know how your 2015 went, if you liked it, if you were happy with yourself, if you read a lot, if you didn't read much, if you didn't read much, did you read good books, bad books? What do you find? New things? Did you stayed in comfort zone? Whatever, let me know. And I will see you guys into the next video. It's probably already 2016. That's crazy. I'm still in the 2015, so hi, future me. That's so weird. Bye. My hand.